Hello everyone, welcome back to another haul video. It has been quite some time since I've done a haul video, so I felt that it was about time to, update it because there are a lot of things starting to pile up, specifically comic book wise. But for those of you who have not watched this type of video here on my channel before, this is essentially a haul video of all of the things I got in a specific month. Lately I've been doing them in kind of bunches of sequential months, so right now it's been about 2 months or so since I've done one, so this is 2 months worth of stuff, and it's not as much as I actually thought it would be, but this is only pertaining to things from September and October of 2020, and next month is of course the big month, which I will do probably a video just specifically for that month because of the Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. But right now, let's get into it before this episode goes on for so long. First up here, I have quite a lot of comic book things, and I'm going to do them in 2 separate piles because one is from September and the other is from October, so I kind of want to keep them separate just to keep everything organized in my mind a little bit. But starting up here, we have X Factor number 1. I'm just going to kind of go through these as quickly as possible. Next up is X Factor number 2. Next up is X Factor number 3. And then next up is Giant Size X-Men 1, and this is Phantom X. And then next up is another Giant Size X-Men 1, and this is Storm. And then now we get into the main X-Men series. This is X-Men number 10. X-Men number 11. And X-Men number 12. And next we have New Mutants, and this is New Mutants number 12. Then we go into kind of the other studios that I get stuff from. First up here is 3 issues of Firefly, and this is Firefly number 18. Firefly number 19. And Firefly number 20. And then we have the one lone DC Comics I get, and this is Shazam number 14. So, now moving on to this other pile of comic books I have. What we have here are several parts of a crossover event in the X-Men universe, and I don't have all of them here, and I'm trying to divide them up into certain parts, but you'll see as we go along. So first up here is X of Swords, and this is part 1 of 22. And next up is X-Men X of Swords, and this is X Factor number 4, and this is part 2 of 22. And then next up here is New Mutants number 13, which is X of Swords part 7 of 22. And next up here, I believe, is X-Men 13 and then 14. And this here is part 10 of 22. And this is 14, and this is part 12 of 22. And then next up here, and this will finish out the Marvel and X-Men books, is X of Swords Stasis, and this is part 11 of 22. So I kind of went out of order there, so excuse me for that. And then we have Firefly number 0. And then Firefly number 21. And then we have Shazam number 15. So now we dive into the movies, and I have a stack of Blu-rays here, and let's just dive into them. First up here is actually something I've already done a separate review for here on my channel, and this is the Blu-ray Paramount Presents edition of Roman Holiday. And this was a long time coming for me personally, because I absolutely love this movie and have been waiting years for it to finally come out on Blu-ray here in the US in Region A land. And yeah, I can't tell you how amazing this Blu-ray looks. Next up here is a Japanese anime film, and this is The Wind Rises, which is done by the great Hayao Miyazaki. Next up here is an early film from David Cronenberg, and this is part of the Vestron Video Collectors series, and this is Shivers. Next up is a Cohen Media release, and this is the Buster Keaton Collection Volume 2, which contains Sherlock Jr. and The Navigator. And next up here is a 4K Ultra HD release of Ad Astra, starring Brad Pitt. This is a film I believe that came out last year, and I thought it was a really good sci-fi film, to be honest. And next up here is a bit of a double dip for me, because I already had one of these films on Blu-ray, but I decided to get this 2-pack, and it happened to come with that other film. And this is a 2-pack edition put out by Paramount of The Addams Family and Addams Family Values. You can buy these two separately, but I decided to get them in one package just because it was actually much, much cheaper. And these do come on 2 separate discs, so you don't have to worry about any compression issues or stuff like that. But next up here is another 4K Ultra HD release, and this is 1917. This was, I believe, one of my favorite films that came out last year, and this 4K actually looks absolutely amazing, just stunning on a 4K display. It really does. It doesn't quite, recapture the majesty of the cinema, but it looks damn good. And next up here is another 4K Ultra HD release, and this is the James Mangold film Ford v Ferrari, starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. And this was another one that was one of my favorite films from last year, so I'm slowly catching up on all of the movies that came out last year to add to the collection. Basically, that's kind of what happens every year, is that the films that came out the previous year start getting cheaper and cheaper, and that's when I like to grab them up. Next is a very special addition to the collection, and this is one that I've been looking to get for a little while now, and I was glad to finally get it right before it went out of print. And this is the Powerhouse Films Indicator Series edition of Hammer Volume 3, Blood and Terror, and this is a gorgeous looking set. I'm so glad that I was able to get it. I have Volume 2 and 3. Volume 4 is in the mail and coming from Amazon UK, so hopefully that gets here and is in, great condition and all that kind of stuff. There is a Volume 5 I still need to work on getting, and then I'll be relatively caught up. Volume 1 is out of print and is the most expensive to get right now, so that's why I'm kind of slowly hunting that one down. But this is Volume 3, and I think once I get most of them, maybe I'll start doing reviews and start watching the films and all that kind of stuff. And last, but certainly not least, is also something I've already done a review for here on the channel, and this is just literally one of the biggest purchases for me of the year, and this is the Friday the 13th Collection Deluxe Edition put out by Shout Factory, as well as Scream Factory, their horror imprint. And yeah, this is a gorgeous, gigantic set. This is, of course, a collection of all of the Friday the 13th films so far. They have been working on a reboot or restart of the franchise for years, but who knows whenever that's going to happen. But here are all of the films, and I went through each individual one of these during my review. I went through all of the special features and just the packaging and everything. So if you're interested in more information about this, definitely check out my review. I did it, of course, for last month because it was Halloween month. So that is it for this video. It wasn't a huge, gigantic video, but it was enough, I think, to kind of update you about all the things I've gotten over the last couple of months. And of course, with the holiday season coming up, I'm probably going to be inundated with a lot more things, so I felt that it was about time to catch up on everything. So thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel, as well as subscribing.